Really, it's a philosophical choice that we make, that we think that choice is a good thing, and having multiple options is a good thing. You know, it's something that we see today with the PC market. There's multiple options for high performance rigs and lower level rigs as well. And we think that it gives them a lot of different options, which is by their very nature a good thing.
If you listen to Valve co-founder Gabe Newell, his company's recent successes are thanks to one thing: the openness of the PC. So when proposing a new breed of living room friendly gaming PCs, so-called Steam machines, it should come as no surprise that they're embracing that same openness as a guiding philosophy for the project.
The Steam machine, what we're requiring is that it ships with a Steam controller, and it also ships with SteamOS. Everything else is really up to the hardware manufacturer. We think that choice is a good thing, and having multiple options is something that our customers like. And so working with a bunch of different partners is going to present those options to our customers.
Their approach is community-based, so it makes sense. If you're saying, you know, we want the community to drive feedback and the community to help form what a Steambox is and give us feedback with the controller, it's kind of like the same way that they're saying all these system builders can build all these different flavors, and at the end of the day, who's going to pick what's the best? You know, not Valve, not us, the customer.
I think what they've done very well is bring a certain type of consumer in and really engage with them in a very loyal way.
They're very open to different interpretations of what a Steam machine might be. So, you know, some people are building dedicated Steam machines, you know, that are either high-end or low-end.
Our focus has really been about taking that Steam ecosystem and all the features and capabilities that Steam offers to our customers and basically transporting that to the living room so that they can have the same experience there.
Newell unveiled 13 new machines at a CES press event. Those range from small devices with integrated graphics up to massive home theater PCs with dual graphics cards. Prices range from $499, already at the high end of the console market, up to a whopping $6,000 and anywhere in between. Not at the event, Valve's own Steam machine prototype, which was sent out late last year to 300 beta testers.
Just because we're not releasing one now does not mean that we won't release one in the future. We think that if there's a role for us to play where we can add value to the space, we'll do that. And if that calls for releasing hardware, then that's something that we're open to doing.
At the show, but not in Valve's lineup, is Xi3's Piston, the diminutive console that grabbed headlines at last year's CES. Valve distanced itself from the company last March, while Xi3 says it wasn't interested in shipping a Linux-based console.
So last year they did invest in our Piston, the development of the Piston console, and asked for us to be in their booth as an example of what was coming with their Steam machines. But after they announced that it would be Linux-based, we felt like we're not ready to do that right now because very few games are Linux-based. And you know, in the future we'll look at that again, but for the time being, we want it to be an entertainment engine and do more than just Linux.
On one end of Valve's lineup are familiar names with unfamiliar cases. Instead of simply reappropriating its existing X51 gaming PC, already a popular living room option, Alienware's Steam machine concept is tiny. It's also unpriced and unspec'd, so it's hard to tell what kind of hardware is in that case. GIGABYTE's Brix Pro achieves its tiny stature by opting for Intel's latest integrated graphics chipset instead of a larger and more expensive dedicated graphics card. At less than 4.5 inches square and less than 2.5 inches tall, the Brix Pro is small enough to fit behind your television. It even includes a mounting bracket so you can do just that. On the other end are unfamiliar names and familiar designs, adopting small form factor cases already popular with the DIY crowd. One uses BitPhoenix's Prodigy case, while two more use the Fractal Design case that's available for $90 on Newegg right now. In fact, it's the case I used when I built a gaming PC just a few months ago. And others still use pre-existing small form factor options from companies like FALCON Northwest, whose Tiki reaches a massive $6,000 and has been available since 2012. The Bolt 2 from Digital Storm is an update to its existing small form factor option, the Bolt. And with a release date of later this month, it'll be on the market well before being repackaged as a Steam machine later this year when Valve finally readies SteamOS and the Steam controller.
When SteamOS launches and whenever the controller, it officially hits like revision 1.0, then that's something that we'll definitely offer as a dedicated, option to our customers of, do you want this purely Steam machine? Do you want this purely Windows? Do you want to do dual boot? And then it's really up to the consumer about how they want to configure that or what operating system they want on our computer.
With a focus on performance and the ability to select dual graphics cards, Origin wasn't interested in making its Steam machine offering petite.
When they come to Origin PC, a lot of people say, you know, that we're the high end, and they kind of expect to, you know, to get high performance and you know, not a low end cheap PC. So, you know, for us, you know, that's what we expected. We kind of see Steam machines as like a gateway where, you know, it can get more people interested and more people involved in PC gaming. I think it's a perfect timing because now you can have this living room gaming PC, and yes, it's going to be more expensive than a console, but it's going to be much more powerful.
So being a Steam machine really only has two requirements. It has to ship with the Linux-based SteamOS, and it has to use Valve's still in development Steam controller.
People who are really comfortable with their mouse and keyboard, like, we're in no way saying that that is changing or going away. That is fantastic. What we're trying to do is provide a way to get close to that performance, but kick back on your couch, right? And so, you know, that's really the goal, is to get, you know, as close as we can to that performance level.
If you were being generous, you could argue that Valve's laissez-faire approach provides plenty of options for would-be living room players and embraces the same openness that Newell attributes Valve's success to. On the other hand, when any PC could be a Steam machine, the impact of the term is blunted. As a marketing exercise, it's unconstrained and confusing. A more selective lineup, focused on the principles embodied in Valve's own, regrettably unavailable case, that is, small size, upgradability, lack of adornment, would communicate a clear vision and carve out a refuge from the still open and still available noise of the general PC gaming market. Like any open market, it's the consumer who will ultimately determine the value. And this first generation of Steam machines may end up looking very different from the next.